Hello and welcome to part 5 in this video workshop series on building a security reporting solution for Oracle eBusiness Suite using CS Report. In this session we're going to be building our responsibility assignments report. This is basically a report that shows all users and all of the responsibilities that they have assigned to them. We'll actually build two variations of this report, a straightforward tabular based report showing rows and columns. We'll also use for the first time in this workshop series a different Windows style where we'll build a master detail style report towards the end of this particular session. So let's get started then by opening up the CS Report Designer IDE. Now, as with all previous reports, the first thing we need to do is give our new report a name. In this case, we'll call it SR for Security Reports, RESP ASNG 01 since it's the first variation. We'll give it a title of Security and then Responsibility Assignments. The project it belongs to is our Security Reporting project, but this time rather than adding something to the User Reporting Solution Group, we'll add it to the Assignment Reporting Solution Group. Style can leave as tabular, and as per the previous reports, we'll specify the menu and the menu sequence at this stage, even though we're not going to use them until a video later in this particular workshop series. Double click to pull in the title, just remove security, and then we'll set menu sequence to 40 in this case. Now, as per the previous reports, I'm simply going to paste in some SQL that I created earlier. Again, nothing overly elaborate, just a simple SQL statement that looks at the view rather, where assignments are stored and does a couple of joins to get some information related to the user and the responsibility. So at this point, I can save and compile, and version 1 of my responsibility assignment report is complete. So let's run it, click refresh, and there we go. So we can see down the left side we've got the username, the user description taken from F&D user, the user start and end dates. We've got a field to indicate whether the user is active or not. Now you'll note that conditional formatting has automatically been applied to the is active field. This is done through something called the item attribute library. We will be covering this in another video later in this series. We've then got the responsibility and then the start and end date of the assignment. Now, the report's good as it is. However, I want to make a few changes, tweak a few field widths, tweak a few labels. I also want to use a slightly different window style to show more rows. Currently, this particular window style shows 16 rows, but I want to change it to show 25 rows. So let's go ahead and make those changes, close this down. First thing I'm going to do is change the style variation. So the window style is tabular. If I pop the LOV that's next to the style, I get the available variations for this particular style, and the one that I want is one that shows 25 records displayed. I also, let me just save that. Let's go into the items window now and make some more tweaks. So username, we're going to change the width to be 14. User description, we'll change the width to be 25. Is active can just be active. We're going to shrink this down slightly so it's 5 wide. We're also going to centralize the active field, set the alignment to center. Responsibility name, we're going to set to 30, and assignment start and end. You can see that the labels there have been truncated. Let's just put ASNG.start and then ASNG.end. One final change that I'm going to make, I want to specify a sort sequence, so the order in which the data is displayed. We can do this in the SQL if we want, but it's just as easy to do it here. All we do in the order field is enter a number to indicate the sequence in which this field should be used to sort the data. And in this case, we want to sort by username first, so that's the first order field. We then want to order by responsibility name, so we put a 2 in there. And at that point, that's all the changes done. Save that, compile the solution and test. And here we go. We can see the screen is much larger than it was. The report, it's now showing 25 rows. We can see that the labels have been changed, the field widths have been changed, we've centralized active. So at this point, I'm happy with my solution. So that's variation 1 of this particular solution complete. What I want to do now, before I actually create an Excel-based report, is create a second variation of this particular screen. So currently we're showing it in a straightforward rows and columns, a tabular style report. What I want to do is create a variation of this, which is a master detail style report that shows responsibility, name as being the master, with the detail region being the users that are assigned to that particular responsibility. Now, I could go through the same process that I've just been through and create the report from scratch, but in this case, I'm going to use the built-in copy feature. So simply with the solution that you want to copy selected, press the copy button, pops up a dialog asking me to enter a new name, and we're going to call this SR RESP ASNG 02 and set the window title Click OK. So if we look on the solution navigator on the right, we've got two variations of the same thing. So we've got SR Resp Assign 01, SR Resp Assign 02. SR Resp Assign 02 is a carbon copy almost of the first solution. Now we want to make a couple of changes. First thing I actually want to do is when it does the copy, it doesn't copy over the menu details. So let me just do those now. So I'll double click to pull in the window title, and this can be menu sequence number 50. Again, we're not going to use those until we get to application builder later in this series. Now the main change that I want to make in this particular report is change the window style from tabular, and I can pick one of the available styles. In this case we want horizontal master detail. I also want to provide a region label for the detail region. We'll just put this as users. Another change I want to make is on the key features region. There is an attribute in the query behavior section that's called auto query detail. What this does, this ensures that as you return a row or as you query a row in the master region, the detail region will auto query. So we need to ensure that that's ticked. If I now save and then compile, at this point it's going to complain to say, okay, everything's okay, except we don't currently have any items that we can class as master items. So all we need to do is go into the items window, and in this case, the only master item I want to create is responsibility name. By default then, because we copied this from the tabular style report, under the DET, which is short for detail, everything's selected as being a detail item. For responsibility name, simply tick MAS for master. We also want to change the sort sequence. In this case, we're going to sort by responsibility first, followed by the username. So let me save that, recompile. Now, before we test this, if I go back into the items window, we can see that CS Report has reshuffled the items based on the master detail structure. So we can see that the master items are displayed first, responsibility name in this case, with all of the detail items displayed underneath. Okay, so let's test this now. Click test, and we get a new report that's got a slightly different layout. If I run a query now, we can see down the left side we have responsibility, so we have a unique list or a distinct list of all responsibilities that have been assigned in the system. And as I move up and down through the list of responsibilities, you can hopefully see on the right hand side the list of users is being auto queried and pulled in. And there we go. That's our two different on-screen interactive reports showing responsibility assignments complete. So the final thing I want to do is on my first variation of this particular report, I want to add Excel reporting capabilities. So on the solution navigator on the right, so within the security reporting project, within the assignment reporting solution group, select SR Resp Assign 01, go to the reporting region, enable Excel reporting, enable the independent concurrent program, double click to pull in the window title. Yes, I want alternate rows to be highlighted. Yes, I want to apply any conditional formatting if there is some. Save, compile, and that's it. So both my on-screen reports are finished as well as my Excel report. So let's deploy both of these now. So with the first solution selected, click deploy. I'm going to filter responsibilities for anything containing sys. I'm going to select the system administrator responsibility and drill into the menu. And again, as per the previous reports, we're going to put it into the user submenu. Menu prompt, double click responsibility assignments, deploy solution, and deploy independent concurrent program. So that's the first solution deployed, and then let me select the second solution, the responsibility assignments by responsibility. Click deploy, do the same thing again, select system administrator, drill into the security submenu, into the users submenu, double click menu prompt to pull that in, deploy solution. Now notice the deploy ICP button is disabled. This is because we didn't create an Excel based report off the back of this particular report. So let's just do the final test now. Let me switch over to system administrator, into the security submenu, into the users submenu. We should have two new reports. Let me just make the navigator slightly larger. So we've got responsibility assignments. So that's our first variation. And we've got responsibility assignments by responsibility. So that's our second variation. And finally, let's run the independent concurrent program. So go requests and submit a new request. Filter for CS. Responsibility assignments. Let's submit that and just monitor the concurrent request. It's pending, still pending, running, complete. So let's view the output. And there we go. Here we can see our perfectly formatted Excel-based report showing responsibility assignments. So that's the end of this particular session. Hopefully you can join me for the next session where we'll build the final report in our security reporting solution, which is a report that shows non-end-dated assignments for end-dated responsibilities. Thank you.